Hey guys, Jeb Smith here, Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage, and today I'm back talking about pre-foreclosures. Pre-foreclosure comes up a lot when working with buyers who are searching different real estate sites out there because these properties are listed as if they are actually active on the market a lot of times, and so buyers get the wrong impression that they are properties either coming to the market soon or that they're available now. But at the end of the day, what a pre-foreclosure is that it's a home where the homeowner has essentially missed payments on the property and the bank has either filed a notice of default on that property or in some cases, maybe the notice of default hasn't been filed, but they're really behind on their payments, and so an auction date or something has been set up in the future for the property to go to sell. So what happens is, once you miss so many payments on your home, the bank then files a notice of default. Once that notice of default has been filed, a lot of times an auction date has been set, a sell date has been set on that particular property. And in my experience, that's more or less what a pre-foreclosure is. It's a property where the homeowner has missed payments, the bank has filed that notice of default, and they've set an auction date. So once the auction date has been set, a lot of times that pre-foreclosure title comes up on those properties. And just because it's a pre-foreclosure listed as one doesn't necessarily mean that the property is going to be available. It doesn't mean that it's going to go to auction, because the homeowners have an opportunity to bring the payments current on that property. And if that's the case, then the foreclosure will stop, and then it's no longer in that status. So now, if they don't bring the payments current, then the property will eventually go to auction. And during that auction, you have an opportunity to bid on the property. But prior to that, you don't really have an opportunity to buy that property from the seller. It's not an active property on the market. So a lot of buyers say, well, it's listed as a pre-foreclosure. I want to buy it because it's listed, at X amount. Well, that X amount is generally like kind of the lowest of what the bank would accept on that property. A lot of times it's a starting bid on that property. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to sell for. So keep that in mind. I tell clients, hey, look, don't worry about pre-foreclosures. If it's a property that is in default, behind on payments, a lot of times the bank or an investor is actually going to be the ones to buy it at auction. And you need cash to do that, at which point, at some point later, it may show up on the MLS or as an active property later down the road. But, pre-foreclosure is nothing more than somebody that's missed payments on their property. They've been given a deadline to bring them current. And if they don't bring them current, then the property will eventually go to auction. So, then it becomes an REO, right? So I've linked below to what an REO is if you're not familiar with real estate owned. That's what happens after the bank actually takes possession back of the property, or another investor buys that property from the auction. So I'll link to that below. But if you have additional questions on foreclosures, REOs, pre-foreclosures, what have you, feel free to reach out, comment below. I'm happy to address it. And as always, appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we'll see you again soon.